Welcome back. In the last episode, we talked about something fundamental, the idea that behavior is communication. Today, we're going to explore one of the first learning processes that shapes how horses understand the world. It's called classical conditioning. And once you see it, you'll realize it's happening everywhere, even without us noticing. Classical conditioning is a type of learning where animals begin to associate two events that happen together. Over time, one event begins to predict the other. The most famous example comes from early psychology experiments, where animals begin to associate a sound with food. After repeated pairings, the sound alone caused animals to anticipate food. The same type of learning happens constantly in horses. Think about feeding time. Many horses start to react as soon as they hear grain buckets, barn doors opening, feed carts going down the aisle. Before the food even appears, their bodies start to prepare for it. That is classical conditioning. The horse has learned sound equals food is coming. This type of learning also shapes the horse's experience with us. For example, if every time a rider approaches a horse, something uncomfortable or confusing happens, the horse may begin to anticipate that interaction before it even starts. On the other hand, if interactions consistently lead to clear communication and predictable outcomes, horses often become calmer and more engaged with humans. They're forming associations based on experiences. One of the reasons classical conditioning is so important is that it happens whether we intend it or not. Horses are constantly connecting events together. That means small details in our routines can shape how horses feel about training. Things like how we approach them, the environment we work in, the timing of cues and rewards. All of those experiences become part of the horse's learning history. Here we can show a simple example. If we consistently pair a small sound, like a click or a marker word, with a food reward, the horse begins to associate that sound with the reward. After enough repetitions, the sound itself becomes meaningful. It predicts something positive is coming. This is the foundation of marker or clicker training, which we'll explore later in this series. Classical conditioning doesn't just affect behavior. It can also influence emotional responses. Animals can learn that certain environments, objects, or people predict good experiences or stressful ones. That's why consistency and clarity matter so much in training. We're not just teaching movements. We're shaping the horse's expectation of what interaction with humans means. Scientific studies have shown that stress hormones like cortisol can influence how effectively horses learn new tasks. Higher stress levels are associated with slower learning and reduced flexibility in problem solving. So creating an environment where the horse can stay calmer and more attentive isn't just kinder, it's also more effective for learning.
This week I uploaded a couple examples that I was able to catch of the horses responding to things that they've become classically conditioned to. And some things I didn't catch on film are, I live next to my horses. When I come downstairs in the morning, I think it's when they just hear me first thing in the morning, they'll call out to me. When I open, if they're not out, when I open my back door, I think that's a cue for them. And they'll hear the squeak of the door, and they usually emerge from their barn or from the paddock. Maybe they're in a place I can't see them, and they'll come to the close fence line. What I did catch is when I go into the deep backyard, they know that I'm back there to feed them. So that's their cue then to go to the deep backyard, or not necessarily their cue, but they're classically conditioned to go back there when they see me go back there. And then the other thing I was able to catch is when I open the grain bin, the metallic grain bin where I keep their ration balancer, Egypt knows it's her time to then go to this particular gate where I can hold the bowl and she can eat out of it and the other animals can't get to it, because that's where I feed her, and she knows that's her cue. And she knows to go stand in her spot. She's classically conditioned to hear the door open to the shed, to the grain bin open, and that it's about time to eat. So she goes and stands in the place where she eats. So those are some of the incidental, classically conditioned things that I've noticed. And I started to do clicker. My goodness. I started to do clicker not training, but just charging the clicker. And I think she was into it because she stayed at the fence line. She was reaching her nose toward me. Her eyes looked big and bright. Her ears were forward. And I don't know what's happening. There's excitement about the training videos. That's what I got. I'm going to attempt to charge my clicker with a horse. If I can get her to me so I don't get swarmed with the twin sister goats. There! I'm going to click. Treat. Okay. I think she's interested. Ears up. Looking beautiful. Cute. Wait. I lost it. Come here. Yes. Charging it up. So I hope I'm charging it right. I'm just clicking and treating. Oh, yeah, she knows. She's made the association already, I think. Let's see, I'm going to click. Oh, maybe not. I'm going to try to encourage her to come up to me again. Hey. Let's see if I click. Yes. I guess I don't have to say anything because I'm clicking. So every time I click, I'm treating. Excitement. Okay, do we think she knows the click? I think she knows. I'm gonna let her walk away and I'm gonna click and see if she wants to come back. It's not rewarding behavior, I'm just charging it up. You guys are so cute. Let's see. I think she knows. Okay. Forgive the mud. So I live next to my horses, and often when they hear the back door, or sometimes in the morning when they hear me or see me, they associate that with food and come out. Not today though. I'm gonna have to go around. Okay. I must have done something. They must have heard me take the flake of hay, or perhaps because I'm approaching the back where I mostly go to feed them, this is their big cue. And they're gonna come over this way. They could also see. Oh, you hear that? Here they come. So I've done something. Now, coming outside didn't do it, though it usually does. It must have been me coming to the backyard, because this is where I often throw hay. They're gonna come. I'm gonna throw the hay. Oh. There they come. So the cue for her coming to the back is me coming to the back, because this is where I often feed her. Next, I'm going to open the door of the shed And she's going to go by that door because that's where I usually feed her. I'm opening this, which she's going to hear, and she's going to go to her gate. She's heard me. I can't do it fast enough. She's heard me get her grain. She heard that aluminum thing open, and that's her cue to come to this spot where I can easily feed her. So here she comes. Maybe, I bet. Yeah! So, opening that metal grain thing was her cue to come over here. In so many words. Up front, I think now they're gonna hear me. And they're gonna come to see me. Oh, look how cute. The chickens are sunning. Well, if they do it, if this doesn't make a liar out of me, this is the only time they're uninterested in me. Normally they pop their heads out. Oh! She's curious. I'm gonna walk around and I bet she'll follow me. I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna walk around. Usually when they hear my voice, I bet if I walk around over there, because that's where I often feed them, they'll come over.
Over the past couple of weeks, I've been working on the clicker training method and charging the clicker with my 2 horses that I'm using for this project. I have a clicker that I use in my right hand, and on my left side is where I keep my treats, which is a pouch that's magnetic, and I have alfalfa pellets. My horses are easy keepers. They definitely don't need to be gaining any weight. So it's something small, something tasty. They thoroughly enjoy getting these as a treat and a reward. So I've been practicing probably 2 to 3 times a week going click, treat, click, treat. And this has been working pretty well where they understand that this noise association comes with something they like after that. If Zaina starts to get too mouthy or too in my space, and I'm not feeling like the training method is working with the click treat out of the pouch, then I can use a dish on the ground and do the click, throw the treat in the dish, and go from there. I just have been doing it out of the pouch, out of convenience, really, because if that's what I have on me and I'm just using it at any random time, that's what's with me. But that is an option I could use with her if she starts to get too mouthy or too in my space. Between the 2 horses, I would say that Zaina definitely is learning the clicker faster than Liberty. As soon as she hears and sees the clicker that first time with the treat reward, she is all about getting in my hands and knowing that, hey, there's something there that I like. And so having that treat pouch on my side can be a little bit problematic because then she is getting into my space, which is something she's done with other things we've been working on, and putting her nose near my pouch and trying to get at the treats. So what we've been practicing is click, treat, kind of stepping back, letting her just calm down, forget about what's going on, and then bring it up again as soon as she's maybe not focused so much on what's on my side, which is something she likes. I've been using this method just mostly out of convenience. Sometimes I'll do it just randomly in the pasture, sometimes in her pen, sometimes it's set up where we're actually working on it specifically. And so I haven't been using like a dish on the ground or anything like that. And I found that this has worked pretty well, kind of sporadic, keeps her a little bit on her toes and picking it up in different areas as we work. Liberty is quite on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to learning the click and the treat reward that comes immediately following. So when I've been practicing this with her, often click, treat, and she's not expecting that treat to come. It's like she's forgotten. So we've been practicing again the click, treat, and then as soon as she recognizes, oh, yep, that's what's coming next, her ears are forward. She's very much attentive in my space, but she's not nosy. She's not pushing for it or nudging for the treat bag. Although there was one time she did grab it from behind and take off running with it, but that was unrelated to the clicker training. And so it's taking a little bit longer to get her to associate that click with the treat. But I am appreciative of the fact that she does wait patiently. She doesn't get up close and start getting mouthy about it. And so I feel like this will be a good option and a good reward and treat process for her. In this video, you could see my entire herd of the big horses coming up for dinner. I'm whistling for them. They generally respond pretty quickly to that. If for any reason they can't hear me because it's windy or they're further out in the pasture, I will use a bell to have them come in, and they respond just as well to that. In additional bonus to this situation, I have got my cats to come in from wherever they are to either the whistle or the bell as well. So everyone comes in to dinner at that time. In this video, you can see that Freya is the first one in, and she's pinning her ears at the others. She's one of the more alpha horses in the herd, even though she is third to get her dinner. In these clips of Liberty, I'm showing how she's become a little bit more hard to catch as of recent. So I'm holding the lead rope in my hand and coming out to her, and she'll start to kind of turn away. And then when she decides, yep, that I am trying to catch her, she'll actually turn a little faster and then eventually run away. Usually I will go out to the herd with the lead rope. If I'm going to catch a horse, put it around their neck, bring them in, and then put the halter on. So she's learned that this has become something where she doesn't want to be caught, whether the lead rope is for her or for a different horse. She will start to move away and gain speed as she is moving away. So obviously this is going to be something that we'll have to work on through this process. In these clips with Zaina, I'm showing how I'm going into the barn, grabbing her halter and lead rope, coming back to her pen, opening her pen, and then walking in to put the halter on her, and then going to bring her out to the bigger pen where she plays with the big horses several times a week. And she thoroughly enjoys being in the bigger pasture and running around, bucking and rearing and doing all sorts of crazy baby stuff. So she's always very excited to have the halter put on her. At this point in her life, the halter has never meant anything but something fun for her. So I'm walking into the barn, coming out, and you can see how she's becoming more and more excited. She's actually reaching her head through the panel, trying to do whatever she can to help get that halter on her so fast. When I'm in the pen with her, she is getting really close in my space, and she's almost being pushy about putting the halter on her. So although it's kind of convenient and nice that she is wanting to have the halter on her, she's not doing it in a very helpful way.
In the next episode, we'll look at the second major learning system in training, operant conditioning. This is the process that explains how pressure, release, rewards, consequences all shape behavior. Once we combine classical conditioning and operant conditioning together, the mechanisms of training start to become much more clear. For now, the main idea to remember is simple. Horses are always forming associations. Every interaction becomes part of the horse's learning history. And the more intentional we become about those associations, the clearer our communication with horses can be. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.